with the Ron and Fez show. Last night was a night off for Ron and Fez, so starting off now with our big ass topics. We've covered 4 of them. There's one to go. One last trip to the big ass prize closet for big ass topics.
Here's Mike. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, buddy. What can we do for you tonight?
My guess is the failure of the Washington Capitals to make it past the first round in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Now, Fezzy, you have to remember they were up 2 games, and then their new cheerleader, Billy Staples, started.
There's the winning cowbell. The Capitals up on the Lightning, 2 games to none, and it wasn't until Game 3 did Billy Staples start cheering for the Capitals. Just adopt them as his brethren.
And I said, put a towel over that mutt's head. I don't want him looking at that puck while the Caps are playing.
Actually, I remember the exact thing you said. If you're a Capitals fan, tear up your tickets.
It's over. It's done. This Schleprock, bad luck bastard, is always a loser.
Jinxie did it again. The Tampa Bay Lightning come back, win 4 straight. They won the series yesterday, Game 6, in triple overtime.
And literally, the headline should have been Wowsy, Wowsy, Woo Woo. Because he's Schleprock.
Billy Staples cannot catch a break, and if you catch him cheering for you, if you hear Billy Staples telling you good luck, run the other way.
Right. His nickname should be Enron Stock.
Because there is nothing he has ever attached himself to that has paid off.
We're talking about a guy who put money down on the Bills 4 times in the Super Bowl. 4 times he bet the Bills.
Cheering for the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
He was cheering for Jim Kelly's hair. He thought that was making a comeback.
This is a guy who invested in New Coke. This is what a loser.
What a jinx you are, Billy.
You've done it again. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the former babysitter for the Lindberghs.
The lifeguard for Tommy Lee's house. Tommy Lee's kiddie pool lifeguard.
Winona Ryder's personal shopper.
Sonny Bono's ski instructor.
Flight instructor for JFK Jr.
Guidance counselor at Columbine Senior High School.
The man who once told Karen Carpenter, you're putting on too much weight.
The man who was an owner for the XFL.
The guy who told John Hinckley how to impress Jodie Foster.
Our own Billy Staples. Billy, what a jinx you are.
I accept no responsibility for what happened to the Cavs.
You don't even accept responsibility for your drinking problems.
Yeah, no.
Why did you get behind them when they were 2 games up? Why did you put your jinx stinks on them?
Well, because, they were doing well, and I just really started to get into the NHL playoffs again, and I was like putting my force behind the horse, shall we say. I was backing the horse.
What was he saying?
I was backing the right horse, I thought.
When you put your force behind the horse, that means you're doing heroin again.
Billy, if you want to help out, bet on the other team.
Become a Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
No, I'm, in some respect, I'm a homer, It's like,
You're a homo.
No, I'm not a homo. It's not my fault they dropped 4 straight. I don't have that kind of power.
You do have that kind of power for evil. You don't have it for good.
Unbelievable. How could a team who has a commanding 2-0 lead, and the first 2 games were in Tampa Bay, right? They won on the road.
Yes, that is.
So, then you got home games after that, and you can't win. Why? I don't blame the Caps. I don't blame the coach. I blame one person, Billy Staples.
Get the broom out and sweep this bum away.
Well, it's actually an honor to think that you guys think I have that kind of power, but it's just an unfortunate turn of circumstances.
You're Magoo. You've done it again.
My bad luck usually only affects me, and it's a personal thing. I can't imagine the Caps, me rubbing off on the Capitals.
You're a jinx tumor. You're spreading.
Nah, they'll be back next year, and
Not if you're cheering for them. The city may lose the franchise.
Now
the NHL might shut down.
No.
Ice is melting.
I can't believe you did it again.
No, now I just have football season to look forward to.
Please don't cheer for the Skins. Please.
Look, the Cavs had a tough break.
Why don't you become a Bengals fan? Where you can do no harm.
Cincinnati somehow loses negative amount of games.
I'm not a jinx. I mean, there's no truth to this whole jinx phenom. You know, the fact that one person thinks that they have that
Billy,
kind of
one
power.
of the things that I know, you keep saying the same thing over and over. But the truth is you are jinx. Now, this show was on last night. All this time you're telling us that you have a bad disease, a disease called alcoholism, right?
That is correct.
Did you have a chance to watch this show last night?
Unfortunately, I didn't. I heard about it, though. Harry Elvis actually saw it.
All right, Harry, get in here. You're the guy that should have been called in. Why wasn't I told that? Why couldn't Harry set me up?
John Stossel making one of his ABC reports talking about addiction is not a disease.
All right, Harry, get over here, seriously, and tell us what the point of this show was. Did you tape it?
I didn't get a chance to tape it. I didn't realize it was on. I was flipping through. But what John Stossel was talking about was how Americans are blaming everything but themselves for their own.
It's not Americans. It's Billy. All right, what was he saying?
I blame Billy.
Billy, you're saying it is a disease, right?
Alcoholism, addiction of any sort, is a disease and is recognized by the American Medical Association since 1956.
Since 1956, your entire lifetime, you've had this disease. You were born with it, right?
That's correct. It was dormant for a while.
Since he weighed 1956.
But Stossel was talking to doctors who said there's no real proven fact that it's an actual disease. There's no scientific fact to prove that. It's just that people...
Why you almost took a swing at him, Billy?
No,
I know. Why'd you get so mad at Harry, who's just reporting the fact?
He's the messenger.
You know what? Harry doesn't know. Harry
knows. He watched the show. I'm talking to Harry.
So he believes everything he sees?
No, I'm asking him to tell me what he saw.
They tried to show both sides, Billy. They even found a guy who decided on his own, without rehab. He said, he didn't want to do rehab because it didn't help him. On his own, he quit, and he said that's better than rehab, just doing it on your own. He doesn't follow the 12 steps. He stays away from
one
bars.
guy, though.
But they're showing that as an example.
It's not like you can't be a white-knuckle drunk. But everybody knows you can.
They're showing that statistically rehabs don't last.
All right, whether or not rehabs last or not doesn't mean that it's not a disease. A lot of cancer treatments didn't last before, but that's still a disease. No one says it's actually even a fixable disease. Billy's saying it's a disease.
Now, was it limited to just alcoholism, or was it everything? Gambling, overeating, all of it?
They talked a lot about overeating, about how people are...
No wonder you stayed on the channel.
There were even...
You thought they'd have recipes.
There were even people who... there was this group, like a female group of fat ladies who decided that they wanted laws changed for them, that they weren't going to lose weight, that society had to change for them. And
change how?
Like as far as seatbelt manufacturers to make
them bigger?
Yeah, and they didn't want to be charged twice for...
Great, now the airbags need airbags.
They didn't
How big are these people?
They were huge people. They were like Bam Bam Bigelow-sized women. Like just
hot.
Immensely
tattoos.
Like Mama Cass-sized women.
This is so ridiculous.
All right, here's John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hello, John.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I saw some of the show last night. And you know those strange things? They always do the drug experiments with the monkeys.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
Yeah,
I love when they get a monkey
they go
high.
all nuts about hitting that little button to get the drugs. Well, they put a whole bunch of males in a cage, and the dominant one rarely ever did any cocaine. All the ones that were submissive to him were just banging that button continuously over and over and over.
So it's like the dominant monkey had too many responsibilities.
I guess.
Didn't need cocaine.
Didn't need it. Didn't want it. He needed it every once in a while, but they said compared, he was just sitting there looking around at everything and playing with the lights in front of it.
All right, so he would occasionally do cocaine, the dominant monkey, but they were saying he didn't addict to it.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He'd give up after time and time and time again.
Were they trying to attribute that to his alpha male personality?
Yes, they were saying that strong people predominantly don't have a lot of addictions.
See, this is what
I'm sitting here next to a human jellyfish, Billy Staples, and I'm wondering now.
It's like the whole experiment with the rats, where they'll give the rat the cocaine, and the rat will take the cocaine in lieu of the food and water, and then it's basically starve itself to death because it won't eat or drink, because rats don't have free will. this is the whole thing. You have to when you take away the free will.
He's saying his monkey has free will.
Right.
That it would not keep doing it. You're missing this even, Billy.
No, see, this is the whole problem. It's a brain disorder. It's a neurological dysfunction in the addict's brain. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, this monkey, you can be a user of drugs. Just because you use drugs does not make you an addict. There is a big difference between someone who's a casual user or a heavy user and somebody who is addicted to a substance. The whole brain neurological function is with the chemicals, with the dopamine, is completely different in that of an addict.
Well, they were saying last night some really quack doctor coined the phrase addiction in the early 1800s.
No, please.
I mean, he said you could be addicted to anything. And people are nowadays. Look at their addictions, sexuality and partying and everything else. It's just compulsive.
You're not falling for it at all, John?
No. I don't think alcoholism is a disease. People quit. You can't quit a disease. You can't say, I quit cancer.
But you could be
nice.
Okay, can I ask you something? If you're a diabetic, high blood pressure, okay, these are all acknowledged diseases, correct?
Yes.
Now, do you have a treatment plan with them?
Now I'm on the stand.
Yes. It's the same. Just apply those principles.
You stop eating sugar if you're a diabetic.
Can you survive as a diabetic eating sugar?
No.
Can you survive as an alcoholic if you stop drinking?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, but the thing is, if you have to follow a treatment plan to get better. If you take sugar, it's like you have to follow a plan for life. A diabetic, it cannot take sugar. An alcoholic cannot drink. An addict cannot use drugs. These are the things. But no one doubts diabetes as a disease.
But is the diabetic addicted to sugar?
No.
I mean, is a diabetic even though he knows it's endangering his health, he can't stop eating cookies or candy bars?
Exactly. I mean, that's
I don't know. I'm asking.
No, I'm saying this is what happens with the addict. If the addict does not stop, it is a fatal progression. The same thing with the diabetic. If the diabetic does not stop eating the things that are bad for him.
But you're saying the alcoholic can't stop, whereas we're saying the diabetic can.
Right.
He's
You
saying
can't
Billy's
stop being a diabetic.
No, wait. You can't stop being an alcoholic. You're always an alcoholic.
Correct.
Billy's saying you can only stay off of it working a program.
Right. You have to, just like a diabetic has to stay away with sugar to be healthy, the alcoholic, addict, whatever you want to call it, has to stay away from the alcohol, the substance of choice. Because in order to be a disease, there have to be certain things. I mean, let's compare diabetes, alcoholism, any of even high blood pressure. The illness can be described. I mean, it's very simple. This is put by the AMA.
All right, I don't want you reading again.
No, but these are the 5 terms that develop a disease.
I know, but reading on the radio is awful.
Okay.
And you're always reading or coming off with some crazy saying.
Ron, let me ask you this. Is the disease predictable? Do you know where, if you're an alcoholic and you keep drinking, do you know where it'll take you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to die. You're going to die. Your liver, you'll get cirrhosis, you'll get some ungodly disease, and same thing with your diabetic.
Right, but here's the problem. Why is it important to call it a disease?
Because it is. I mean, if something is a disease, why should we not call it a disease? We're not going to, why do we call a tree a tree? Because it is. A tree is a tree.
You're so drunk right now. I can't look at you.
You look at an oak, you're not going to say, oh, look, that's a lovely animal. No, that's a tree.
I don't know what John Stossel's point was of this thing because I didn't see it. I mean, if his point is there's no such thing as alcoholism, is that what he's saying?
No, his point was that there is such thing as alcoholism, but it's up to the person, the individual, to get over it and not blame everything else, not say, I come from a weak background, or, I was born this way. They have to take accountability for themselves.
But how are people who are working a program, right, like Billy, whether or not he succeeds at it or not, how's he not taking accountability for himself? That's what I don't understand.
Because for the most part, they're going to the program and expecting the program alone to fix them. Like if I just go away to the sleepaway rehab, when I come out...
So your stuff is more about a rehab, a one-time only thing, rather than a lifetime program that's set up.
Now, with John Stossel, is he getting into... God, I wish we had seen this. Is he getting into things like insurance coverage?
He mostly spoke about the expense.
I mean, are rehabs covered by insurance if someone's an alcoholic? I know corporations and companies will set up programs.
From what I read about Stossel, his big thing was free will. Why doesn't somebody have the will to just stop? You know, that if you can apply your will to anything. You know, then people look at an alcoholic anonymous, they go, oh, why can't he just stop? You know, it's a compulsive disorder. You can't just stop.
And they do that with really obese people, too.
Yes. I mean, obesity, it's even part of the discrimination laws, the disability laws. You know, like obese people are now covered by that. And it is.
They had that fat guy in Connecticut. He's obese. He's like over 400 pounds. McDonald's wouldn't hire him. And now here's what's going to come down in the case. He says with the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, he's covered under that law and should be hired by McDonald's. McDonald's is saying, no, your obesity is not a disability.
All right, here's the thing about McDonald's. I see they hire old people and retards. They can't give a fat guy a job. They're worried he's going to be in there eating a fry.
I think he's the very best advertisement. Hire him as a billboard.
They actually also had a woman who wanted to teach a jazzercise class, but the gym wouldn't hire her because she was at like 230 pounds, and they said it wouldn't help like them get customers to the gym because she was too fat, and she sued and won just because she felt it was discrimination that she couldn't.
So now everyone can take fatter size.
Yeah, why doesn't she become a fat model then and say I want to work anywhere? You know, I mean, it just doesn't come down to one thing. I'd like to be in the NBA, but and play center. But I can't.
No. And the fact that, what you're talking about somebody who is teaching a class has nothing to do with the fact she may have a disease.
But and I know that a small amount of people that are really obese have that whole thyroid disorder where they couldn't lose weight if they tried.
I don't buy that, Ron.
It's like 1 or 2%.
I don't. That whole thyroid thing, I think that's a cop-out. That's like saying I'm big-boned. That's all, people always say, oh.
Now you're agreeing with John Stossel.
No, I'm talking about, obesity is a disease. It has nothing to do with your thyroid.
How many diseases you have?
Oh, I got a few. But they're all the disease of addiction.
And I noticed this, you're always wanting to gamble with us, too.
Well, yeah, it's in the disease of addiction. You don't think
we always have to tell you no. I should have taken some of that capital money he was offering.
See, I'm not agreeing. I'm saying that to blame overeating and being fat on a thyroid condition is a cop-out. The fact is you overeat because it's an addiction. You are addicted to food.
All right, here's RJ. He saw the show last night. RJ, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, guys. I actually didn't see the show, but I did rehab in a 12-step program, and that was 18 years ago, and I never bought into the fact that it was a disease, and Billy might not want to hear this, but I knew it was important for a lot of people to believe it was disease, but it's really, what I got out of it was being able to deal with the emotional problems I had that I would mask through drinking. And the reason I know it's not a disease, that was 18 years ago. For 10 years, I didn't drink. I did meetings. Now I can have an occasional drink. And I'm not off to the races.
What do you say to him, Billy?
I say, you know what? You went to rehab because something happened in your life where you needed to get better quick. Did you get in some kind of trouble with the law or something?
Oh, yeah, Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So because you're an alcoholic, and obviously you are not, RJ, and that's fine. That's why you wouldn't agree with the show last night. You went to rehab to save your ass to go from going to jail.
Well,
true?
No, I disagree. I still, I didn't do jail time, but I was still in a lot of trouble. But I also went because I recognized that I was out of control.
Okay, yes, but you can be out of control and not be an addict, an alcoholic. You know what? You can have a bunch of drinks, go through a crazy childhood, be a wild teenager, whatever, and the fact you can stop and after all this time have a beer or two proves you are not an alcoholic.
Well, I would disagree. I was as much met the definition as anyone else.
You don't stop being an alcoholic.
It's very important for people who to believe it's a disease to take the burden off of themselves of I'm not a morally weak person. It's not me. It's something external.
See, RJ, now you would feel so differently if after you got into that rehab you actually struggled with your drinking.
Or if you would, you're talking about take responsibility. But you did the rehab instead of standing up in front of that judge.
Yeah.
And now you're wanting to talk to us about moral responsibility.
I stood up in front of that judge.
Oh, look, officer, I'm trying to get help with my rehabilitation, with my disease.
I was in rehab before they ever filed charges.
Yeah, that's a smart move. That's preemptive. I did the same thing.
Sure, and I'm sure she looked at least 17. Thanks, RJ.
You just have to...
I don't know why it matters to you whether it's a disease or not, Billy. Well, because you got to deal with it no matter what.
I just don't like when people who don't John Stossel is a guy who was a consumer advocate, one of these consumer reporters.
I know you're attacking him rather than the point.
What does he know about the disease aspect? This guy would go and say, why isn't this person's heat on for 17 years, and now he's an expert on addiction. He gets hit in the...
He's a reporter. You can't... Now, see, Billy, let me tell you something. I try to point this out on the show all the time. When someone brings up, here's my point, and then you attack them personally, you're looking like you can't defend the point, okay? So it doesn't matter about John Stossel. And you know a lot of people do not believe that addiction is a disease.
Then they do not know enough about addiction. And because if you learn about it, when you're an addict, when you're an alcoholic, whatever you are, when you take in that substance, there's a chemical in your brain called dopamine that gets produced. And that gives you that feeling of highness that makes you feel great.
Is that no matter what you take?
Yeah, it doesn't matter whatever your drug of choice is.
Like it could be a Xanax?
Yeah, it could be a Xanax, if that got you high. Not everyone gets high from Xanax.
Oh, God! The BS excuses.
And then after a while...
What other drugs do you want for your depression or whatever? Anxiety or depression?
Both.
How can you have both? You're either anxious or you're depressed.
I'm so anxious about being sad.
I'm dual diagnosed, Ronnie. I'm depressive and alcoholic and addicted.
And anxious, that's 3.
Well, no, anxiety comes with
You're the triple threat.
No, I'm on Lexapro and Wellbutrin for my clinical depression.
Mm-hmm. Has that helped you?
Yeah. I'm much better than I used to be. I get out of bed now, I shower,
You didn't used to get out of bed and shower?
Oh, when I had the chance...
shower in bed.
No, when I had the chance, you don't want to do anything when you're clinically depressed. You want to stay inside. You just, you stay in the same clothes.
See, I'm afraid that you see the commercials, like for some of these antidepressants, and you see the symptoms that people have, and you use them as an excuse not to change that effing Bone Man shirt for the past 4 days.
So in other words, he's lazy, and that came up in that show last night.
And now laziness...
say you're lazy and unorganized.
No, laziness has nothing to do with being depressed. Anybody who's been clinically depressed knows exactly what... You have no motivation, no desire. No, I have plenty of motivation and desire. My will is my own, and it's just
That's the same thing people say about teenagers, and they call them lazy, Billy.
What are you talking about, Harry?
Well, you're saying they have no motivation, no desire to do anything. Why is that?
Okay, I'm not a teenager, Harry, so at 40 years old, I should not be having this problem.
45.
This is an adult conversation.
Yeah, good point.
You're 1 year out of your teens, and you're talking to me about motivation. You know what? Live through what I's
right. Again,
our teens...
You're attacking the person rather than the point. I want you to stay focused.
When I get attacked, I attack back.
He's attacking the point.
He's asking if teens are considered diseased.
No.
Because they like to sit on the couch and watch video games.
Look, we all like to do
the girls are hot.
We all like to veg. There's a difference between vegging out and being clinically depressed. You know what? Your depression and...
it's how much you slick your hair back.
Is that a disease too, depression?
Yes, depression is definitely a disease.
Hey, Nightshade, you're on Ron and Fez.
14666. Hey, Phil, you know what? I'm sick of hearing you going off about how addiction is all this, that, and the other thing, disease. You're just trying to cover up that you got no willpower, that you got no guts.
I got plenty of guts.
You know what? You're crying about you got all this addictions and everything. I smoked for 15 years. I quit cold freaking turkey. Never looked back. I quit drinking cold freaking turkey. No rehab, no nothing.
Why can't
you just have a little bit of guts?
Nigel, what do you want? Do you want a pat on the back that you did a great job? Fine, you did a great job. You know what? I have a bigger problem than you. You know what? I'm addicted to cigarettes. I was. Nicotine is a very addictive substance. I beat that. You know what? Yeah, you can quit drinking. I cannot without a plan because I have the disease. Not everyone has it just because they quit drinking. Maybe your wife tells you, you drink too much and you quit. Fine. But don't bust my balls because I have the disease and you don't.
All right, thanks, Nightshade. Go ahead. Did you want to say something else? All right. No, you made a mess.
So he doesn't have the disease, even though he had a different treatment plan than you? He doesn't have the disease?
not for anyone, just by saying what he said, I quit cold turkey. Sure, there have been alcoholics who've quit cold turkey.
I'd like you to quit wild turkey.
Really, how come everyone...
quit turkey.
How come everyone who succeeds...
Harry heard turkey.
I'm sorry, Harry?
Why is it everyone who succeeds, they don't have the disease?
No, I'm succeeding. I have the disease.
Not succeeding.
I'm very much succeeding. I'm sober today.
Now. Today.
Well, how long do you want him to be sober before he's...
Harry, what is your expectations? What is your barometer of success? Give me a date. How much time, Harry? How much time?
All right, Harry, since you're busting balls over here, why don't you have a drink?
Because I don't think I can handle it.
Why not?
What can't you handle? Being drunk?
Because I can't handle food. So I don't want to bring
you can't handle it.
I eat too much.
I saw you handle a ham the other day.
So you're saying it's something you could catch, not something that you could pick up and stop.
You don't think you have an addictive personality? We can't have food left in this office without you taking it home. You don't think that's... No, I'm just saying. This is addictive. You have a food addiction.
Eating out of the trash again, it's attacking the person. No, but if you don't think that it's something that's bad, why don't you have a smoke right now? You never do. You never have a drink.
Because I don't want to get addicted. I think I have a...
No, you're just saying. No. What's the difference between addicted and the disease?
Now, are you thinking that if you had a shot or a beer, you wouldn't stop?
Not necessarily that I wouldn't...
Everybody's crazy.
Ronnie, look at it. Ronnie, it's Buddy Love. Buddy Love has stopped by.
I'm buying drinks for everybody. I'm Crazy Harry.
It's not that, but I think I would drink too much for my own good. Like, it would hurt my body to drink a lot.
Well, this is about Billy, not you.
Well,
I don't know why you think it's about you.
That looks like a temple that got bombed in Baghdad. If your body's a temple.
Well, you're talking about his belly button. That's where the bomb hit, the bunker buster. Here's Paul, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, Baldy?
Yeah.
Hey, pal.
Hey, I want to let Fat Ass know that it's all a mindset. You can go through whatever rehab you want. My uncle went through everyone. 25 years of drinking. And you know what helped him? His mind. It was like, I'm going to quit. And he quit. What he needs to do is get a prescription of suck it up pills and suck it up.
And how did your uncle quit?
He just quit. He didn't go to any rehabs or anything. He just quit on his own.
He doesn't go to meetings. He doesn't.
Not anymore. He
did.
Put the bottle down.
Okay, you're telling me, though, at one point, though, he did need meetings to quit.
At one time, he thought he needed them, but he quit on his own.
Was there a significant event that happened in his life that made him quit? Or did he
going to jail, waking up drunk, crying over a broken bottle of booze?
Well, you know what, Paul? These are different circumstances for different people. Do you think your uncle was not an alcoholic?
I never said he wasn't, but I'm just saying you just need to suck it up.
No, okay, but so your uncle was an alcoholic. He had the disease, okay? And by him stopping drinking, that is the treatment for the disease. It's not how you do it. It's just this is your treatment. The treatment
is... Put the bottle down, bitch.
I did put the bottle down, bro.
All right, stop.
I'm not your...
Oh.
And I'm not your bitch.
All right, enough said.
Would you quit?
Stop the bro and the bitching. Billy, why do you think people get upset that you are going through a treatment program? Why do you think that seems like weakness to them?
Because they just don't understand. And I'm trying to enlighten them, to educate them on the actual addictive disease, the nature of addiction.
Since you started your program, how many times do you think you've gone off it and started drinking? Since the first time you did rehab?
Oh, I've relapsed probably about 30, 40 times.
30 or 40? Now, why is that funny to you? I really want to know the truth.
I didn't think it was that much. Like, it's sort of not. It wasn't a laughter. It was like an uncomfortable laughter. Like, I didn't expect it to be that high. I thought like maybe 9.
What is funny about a guy who's trying to do something and fails 40 times?
At least. And you got to remember, I've been drinking since I was 13 years old. That's 32 years of drinking.
It's not so much funny. It just shocked me more than anything. Like, I can't imagine someone would do it. It would go back to something that failed them 29 times.
Is there something you really enjoy, Harry? No, I
really enjoy.
No. What is fun?
What do you like? What do you like in life?
The most thing you most enjoy.
Let's say stand-up comedy, because Harry's an aspiring comic. Let's say you bombed on stage 29 times.
And I know you have by now.
And I think I'm being kind.
Yeah.
would you still go up on stage?
Yeah, I'd still go up, but
Why?
I think that's different because
why would you go up there?
you only succeed at stand-up by
Why would you go
going
back?
up. You only succeed by continuing, and that's how you get better, by learning from those.
Maybe Billy's trying to become a better drinker. We got to take a break.
I think he's the best.
I'd just like to say one thing, Harry. Relapses are usually the rule for recovery. Nobody usually gets it in one time. All right? There are very few people you'll see who say...
by relapsing, you're just following the program? You're doing what you've been told?
I'm just saying, not many people get it the first time out.
You're not kicked out of the program for relapsing.
Yeah.
Like, we've told you time and time again, Staples. Now get out. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. It's Billy versus John Stossel on the Ron and Fez Show.
Back with the Ron and Fez Show, live on a Tuesday. Billy Staples in the studio with us, kind of disputing this John Stossel report that was on ABC, saying that addiction is not a disease. It's basically a weakness of mind. Basically a choice.
Billy, why does that make you angry? Why couldn't you say call it whatever you want to call it?
Because it's a disease. You wouldn't call cancer a weakness. You wouldn't call diabetes a weakness against sugar. It's a disease. Call it what it is. The American Medical Association recognizes it as a disease. All these people calling up saying they went to rehab. Guess who paid for their rehab? Their HMOs, their medical plans, because it's recognized as a disease.
All right, but see, here's the thing. People who go to rehab and think, I didn't get better. That's as stupid as, like, I went away to fat camp 3 years ago, and yet I'm not thin now. I mean, unless you're doing the same things all the time, you're not going to be able to keep it together. I don't know why any of these people, or Stossel had it set up, like, rehab is not a quick fix. I don't know of anybody who would say that it was, Deal.
No, it's not a quick fix. It's not a one-shot. It's not a shot in the arm. Boom, 30 days, you're cured. No, this is to tell you how to deal with your addiction for the rest of your life, one day at a time. If you have high blood pressure, you have to maintain that plan by taking your medication every day. If you're a diabetic, you have to take insulin every day. If you're an alcoholic, you have to refrain from picking up that drink every day.
Maybe people would feel better if you had a medicine. Then they'd call it a disease.
Well, you know what? There is a medicine. There actually is a pill. It's called Antabuse. And if you take it and you drink, you get violently ill and can die. They give it to severe
They give you a pill that could kill you?
Yeah.
We're going to drop it in people's drinks.
It's good. They gave it to, I've seen people give it to people in rehab. People who couldn't, would sneak out and couldn't drink, they would, under the advice of the counselor, they would give an Antabuse. In the
I
outpatient.
can't imagine they would give out a pill that could kill you.
Yeah. Well, put it this way.
Let's say someone's on this Antabuse.
If you drank enough.
And they're taking this pill every day, and it's, they can't tolerate alcohol. But something really bad happens to them that day. They can't take it. They wander into a bar, have some beers, and now the prescription drug they were taking has killed them. I can't buy this for a second.
Well, believe me, I'm not first off, it makes you ill. It makes you violently ill.
Did this actually happen, or something came to you in your DTs?
No, I have never taken Antabuse, but in my group therapy sessions, there have been people where they actually have to take it in front of me and in front of everyone else and the counselor, and it depends how much you drink with the Antabuse.
Is this like a last resort thing? I mean, how bad of an alcohol problem do you have to have before you get the Antabuse?
Well, this is pretty much used when you're an outpatient. Like when you go to your meetings.
Have you asked about it? Have you looked into it?
I thought about it. Where there were times where I thought I couldn't stop on my own.
With your eating,
yeah,
you've been so drastic about that you actually had major surgery and got your stomach stapled. You went that far.
Mm-hmm.
Why not do it with the alcohol, with the Antabuse?
Because you just cannot get the Antabuse without being in a therapeutic, like a rehab or an outpatient or something. In other words, I can't go to my doctor and say, can I have a prescription for Antabuse? Because they just won't take it.
All right, so Billy, you're addicted to alcohol?
Alcohol.
Drugs.
Food.
Gambling. Sex?
No, I'd have to say no.
Would you say you have a porn addiction?
Pretty close, yeah.
You're with a lot of hookers and you watch a lot of porn.
Well, they seem to go very hand in hand with the drug addiction.
What's your favorite porn to watch?
Oh, probably the money shots.
You like to see guys...
If I had a preference. That's most of my downloads.
Is there a difference between the porn addiction and a sex addiction?
Yeah, porn, sexual addiction usually involves another person.
But I mean, it's all sexual urges that you can't control no matter what your outlet is.
When you have a sex addiction, you're kind of taking advantage of other people. And Billy hasn't gotten to that point yet. Just kind of yanking his own crank. Here is...
I can't do that anymore.
Here's Shannon. Shannon, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ron and Fez.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi. Billy, I just wanted to say that my sister is diabetic, and she didn't all of a sudden one day decide that, her pancreas was going to stop working. So it's sort of ridiculous for you guys to for Billy, to compare alcoholism to diabetes. That's ridiculous. If you know that you have alcoholism in your family, you shouldn't pick up a drink.
Well, when you're a young kid and stuff, like I used to sip my dad's beer or something, It's like...
I'm so glad you said beer.
Your alcoholism is there whether you want it or not. And I'm sorry about your sister's diabetes, but that wasn't her choice, and my addiction is not my choice.
But you know what? A lot of people now who are claiming diabetes got it from being fat. It's not like they're little kids.
Well, that's the type 2. That's not the type 1.
That's adult onset diabetes, which I don't have.
That's what Dr. Atkins was all about, if we had listened to the Fezzatorial.
Yeah, but, no, everybody, the diabetic is a great analogy to the alcoholic because it's a daily reprieve from your condition, and if you do not take that medication, there are grave consequences. The only difference is you inject yours, I go to a church basement.
I think her point is that the diabetic didn't plan on her pancreas not working correctly, whereas your disease was self-inflicted.
Absolutely not.
I think that's what she's trying to tell you.
All right, but let's say the thing. All right, but let's go this way. Fez, are you an alcoholic?
No.
You're just an occasional drinker?
Yes.
Billy, would you like to be an occasional drinker?
I would love to be an occasional drinker.
You can't see that there's a difference between Billy and Fez, where one guy could have a couple of beers?
I've suffered when an addict, an alcoholic, they suffer permanent neurological damage after the drinking for a while. And it's this change in your brain's nervous system is irreversible. It's not like you can stop and go back.
Then don't pick up the bottle on the first time.
Well, how would you know?
How would you know? Because your dad's drinking.
No, well, I never said my dad was an alcoholic.
We did.
But Shannon, here's the thing we're saying. I picked up a bottle, Fez picked up a bottle, and Billy's got this thing.
How did your sister find out she was a diabetic?
She had to pee all the time, actually.
Okay, so the thing, I hate to say this, but so if your sister never ate or didn't eat sweets, she would never know she was a diabetic.
No, that's not true. She got thirsty all the time and thus had to pee. But, she wasn't a big candy eater. She exercised all the time.
Okay.
And it's not like she decided that she was going to get diabetes, whereas you sort of decided as a young kid that you were going to go ahead and pick up a bottle.
Wait a second. So when I went out at age 13 and went to the local store and bought malt liquor, I was making the decision at that point in time to be an alcoholic for the rest of my life?
Yes, indeed you were, because
that champagne that I drank that night did not make me an alcoholic for the rest of my life.
You champagne in comparison.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
My brother was just hanging out a Colt 45. Some malt-leggedy bull.
Champagne. Billy, you started drinking when you were 13.
Mm-hmm.
When was your first rehab? What age?
24.
All right, so you had 11
good years.
11 decent years.
Well, 24 was my first arrest, my first drunk driving. I had to go for like a week kind of seminar with my first AA meeting and things like that. My first sleepaway rehab wasn't until I was about 27, 28.
That's when you were big enough to go away?
Yeah.
All right, Fez, here's your best friend, the Cigar Sid.
I love Cigar Sid.
Hey, Sid.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Billy, every point you've made to support that alcoholism is a disease, you could use the same thing for smoking or overeating.
Correct.
Are all those diseases?
Yes, they're addiction. The disease of addiction knows no substance.
All right, here's the thing, though.
Huh?
You choose to drink or eat or smoke. I don't see how your choices can be diseases. Here, all these people that went to rehab, and even you, how well you're doing now, that's because you've chosen to get better. I can't see how that's a disease. Cancer patients and diabetes patients don't choose to get better.
Sid, they should choose to.
If they have the opportunity, I'd choose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can't choose to get better.
Sid, if I don't
can. You can beat those diseases, hopefully. We cheer them on. We don't want to tell anybody. You're not going to make it.
You gloomy Gus.
All right, go ahead, Billy.
A disease, all diseases are different, but they follow the same course. They're permanent. They're fatal. They follow a same definition of, it's not completely treatable. You know what? There is no cure for alcoholism, but to not drink. There is no cure for diabetes, but to not take sugar. There is no cure for cancer, unless you take chemo or radiation therapy, whatever the doctors tell you.
Tell me about it, Stud.
But again, nothing is definite. I mean, I don't have a definite. There is no cure. You never hear somebody say, I am a recovered alcoholic.
No, but my point is...
They say recovering.
Yes.
Okay.
Your recovery is based on your choice not to drink. Diabetics' recovery is not based on their choice to get better. It's based on medication.
But they have to follow that.
Yeah, it's a plan. If you don't follow a plan set out for you, if you have high blood pressure, Sid, right?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to take blood pressure medication every day, and you don't take it, and you burst an aneurysm in your head, okay? Because you didn't take your high blood pressure, you know what? You're still dead, whether, you followed the plan or not.
What's the point?
Now my head is killing me.
The point is there's a plan to follow for a recovery, whether it be picking up a drink or taking a pill or shooting something in your vein.
It sounds like all the things that were written under your senior picture in your yearbook.
These are a few of my favorite things.
All right, thanks, Sid.
All right, no problem.
Just because the treatment is different does not take away from something being a disease.
All right.
Sid made a lot of good points that Harry was trying to make earlier, though.
Cigar said, thank God for him.
Billy, maybe if you didn't call it a disease, people would back you up more.
I did not call it a disease. The American Medical Association called it a disease, and insurance companies pay for treatment of this disease. Believe me, they would not pay for it. These insurance companies wouldn't pay a dime if this wasn't a disease.
Let me ask you about my situation with a disease.
Okay.
Because the doctor says I have high blood pressure. I'm on medication for high blood pressure. He told me that if I lost, let's just say in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 pounds, he would take me off the high blood pressure medicine, that it would cure that. So I obviously haven't lost the weight. Now, am I an addict? Am I a food addict?
No, your disease is not addiction. Your disease is you have high blood pressure.
But I'm not following the program that he put me on.
Are you taking your medication every day?
I take my medication every other day like I'm supposed to.
Then you are following the plan. You have a choice.
But I haven't lost the weight to get rid of the disease.
But you won't get rid of the disease. I mean, your disease will still be there if you gain the weight back.
No, my doctor says if I get down to a certain weight, it would help my high blood pressure and it would be gone.
If he got to 300 pounds, he should be...
We weren't going to use real numbers.
Oh, okay. Let's say 290.
Okay.
Is what Fez is saying.
I wish.
He could go off the pills. He would be healthier. He decides, or just lives the way, that, you know what, I got these pills, what the F?
I guess that's like an alcoholic deciding to take the antabuse. I can work hard. I could go to my meetings every day. I could, be spiritual, physical, and have a mental outlook on life. Or I can take a pill every day and take the easy way out.
But am I addicted for not losing the weight and not curing my disease, which I well could? Am I addicted or am I just lazy?
No, I don't. You know what, Fez? Only you can decide if you're an addict or not to food. I mean, you're only 40, 40,
the addict.
Let's do this. Let's put a mellow cup here and then leave the room, and we'll come back. Let's see if it's still there.
You won't have to leave the room. I'll take it in front of you.
Joe, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I just want to tell Billy that I fully support him, and I'm really sick of all these people trying to say that alcoholism is not a disease. I am a recovering drug addict. My drug of choice is marijuana, and a lot of people say it's not addictive, but I'll tell you what, I've tried being an occasional pot smoker, and every time I take, I quit for like 2 weeks or whatever, I take one bong hit or something, and I'm fully hooked again. I can't sleep, I can't eat without it, fully addicted all over again. And the American Medical Association defines it as a disease because it has been proven to be a disease because people who are alcoholic and put alcohol into their system, there is a different chemical reaction. Different chemicals are released by their brains than a normal person who's exposed to alcohol.
You don't do any other drugs other than smoke pot? It's in the gateway drug field?
That was what got me started on other harder drugs.
Okay.
I ended up quitting those, but marijuana, I quit smoking pot a year and 3 months ago.
But pot wasn't your main problem. It was just leading to other stuff.
No, a lot of my problems came from other harder drugs, but I didn't do those for very long. But as long as I was smoking pot, I never had any money. I didn't have any motivation to do anything. I was always trying to get away from my family and my friends who didn't smoke. And it just really caused me a lot of problems. And
wow, you described me without the pot.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I couldn't even hear you.
I know.
Go ahead.
Okay, but I lost my train of thought now.
That's okay. I thank you very much.
I interrupted the bong thought.
All right, thanks, Joey. All right, best of luck to you, brother. All right, see you later. Best of luck to you.
866-277-4969.
What he was talking about, the chemical, is what I mentioned before, the dopamine. Your level of dopamine in your brain affects your well-being. Matter of fact,
maybe if they had a different word for it than dopamine, people wouldn't, take it more seriously. Why do you think they call it
dopamine?
Well, Parkinson's disease is because of the altered levels of dopamine in your brain. I mean, you wouldn't fault somebody for being a Kathleen Hepburn or Michael J. Fox for having shakes and quivers all the time.
Oh, I thought you meant for being fine actors.
No, for having Parkinson's. It's all based on the level of dopamine in your brain.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. It's the Ron and Fez Show.
We're back. We're live on a Tuesday. We're Ron and Fez on 106.7 WJFK.
Fezzy, I saw a great show over the weekend, Actors Studio. It's the Actors Studio. What's the guy's name that hosts that?
James Lipton.
James Lipton.
I believe it's James.
With the entire cast of The Simpsons.
Oh, okay. I'd seen that one before.
And they're all out doing their voices and all. What a great show, man. What a terrific show that is. Two of the people in that, the guy who plays Homer and the girl who plays Bart, could not make it in any other line of show business. Unless they were just doing the voices. They are so strange looking and so strange acting.
Dan Castellano, I think.
Yeah. And the Bart girl. How freakish. Almost weird.
Nancy Cartwright, I believe is her name.
Thank you.
Thank you for jumping in.
When are you sexy boy? When does that start?
I have a bit of a cold tonight.
When did this become...
I mean, I should sleep with you?
I didn't know. It sounded sexy.
When did this become the show password? Nancy Cartwright.
What Ron doesn't know is Nancy Cartwright hosts the show.
And we've replaced his coffee with Folgers Crystals. Let's see if he notices. Talk like a human, please.
I'll try from now on.
866-277-4969 is the toll-free phone number tonight. And we're talking with Billy Staples. Billy Staples taking a lot of issue with John Stossel, who did a report on ABC saying addiction is not a disease like people are claiming. It's just a matter of free will and choice.
I will say this John Stossel's a mutt, and I can't believe he's hung around as long as he has on TV without getting famous.
All he does is these 1 hour specials. He tries to be provocative and pick a unique subject matter that will get people up in arms.
Remember when he had to apologize? I think it was it was either about meat or vegetables or something like that. And they had gone to a bunch of supermarkets claiming that food was out of date.
He claimed there was no such thing as a green vegetable.
That's what it was.
And someone brought up broccoli. And they went, okay, maybe one.
And they actually doctored his evidence to try to prove his point when he didn't have anything to back it up. They had to apologize.
Hey, Manny, you're on the air.
Hey, Manny.
Hey, buddy.
Guys, how's it going? My buddy?
We're calling the gang.
All right.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just want to say that, I'm really rooting for Billy Staples. I think he's a great guy and he'll make it.
Everybody's rooting for you, Billy.
That makes me feel really good, Ronnie, to know that the audience is truly behind me.
What about us? Me and Fez are behind you.
I may just be one guy, but I just want to tell Billy that he'll make it and he'll be a success. He'll be a good actor. Don't worry about the puss sack or any of that.
You're gonna make it, Billy.
And
tomorrow's puss sack day, Manny. I appreciate that.
Why don't we do this? Why don't you have a Billy Staple fan expo and Manny can show up?
Wow!
And the two of you guys can go on rides together.
I think Manny's the president of my fan club right now.
You can hold the convention in a Yugo.
Yeah, that BillyStaples.net or something.
All right, see you later, my man.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Manny.
Here's our power caller, our good buddy, DC Reed. Hey, Reed. DC.
Billy, I would have been behind you tonight until you screwed the Caps over. So,
I did have the Caps. He screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah, Jinxie did it one more time.
Billy, I'm going to have to ask that you never root for the Caps again. And, we were doing fine. We were up 2-0, and then you jumped your fat ass on the bandwagon and broke the rear axle.
That's the unique thing about this. It's not like when the Caps made the playoffs, Billy jumped on board immediately. He waited till they were 2 games up before he opened his yapper.
Well, didn't they fall like you did?
Ooh.
DC Reed has a broken hip or pelvis, something like that.
Yeah. Much better now. And Billy, the other thing about the disease thing, it's really just a way for you to say that you're not taking responsibility.
Au contraire. I mean, I definitely take responsibility.
Let me grab my French-English dictionary.
Tish, you spoke French.
I mean,
See, the difference is I am accountable for everything I do, but not responsible.
I mean, I hope you guys...
Huh?
What does that mean?
I learned that.
Billy, I hope you get over it and all that stuff, but I think that, when you call it an addiction, that's legitimate, but when you call it a disease, it's just a way for people to go, oh, I'm an alcoholic, don't blame me.
No, I mean, if I was sitting here telling you that I had, let's say, rickets or scurvy, okay, or some disease, would you...
I wouldn't doubt either one, but go ahead.
Would you be saying, oh, I'm making it up, or it's my own fault because I didn't eat enough oranges?
Well, disease is something you just kind of get. You really didn't control getting it. I mean, that's why I don't see calling alcoholism a disease, because you controlled it completely.
No, I did not. I did not choose to have the lack of dopamine levels in my brain. The neurological synapses are not firing the way they do in a normal
Here's the difference, though. If we didn't see you having so much fun while you were suffering from your disease, maybe it wouldn't bother us as much.
That's what tends to get people.
We see you with 2 hookers and a crack pipe and a bottle of Jack, and you're yelling drinks in the house. I can't go, man, I feel sorry for that guy.
Your pants are down in an adult club?
You should see me the next morning, though, when those levels, when the body has reacted and the levels reach below the normal levels. That's when because your levels of your brain, this happy drug in your brain, get elevated when you add the drug that you like. And the next morning, when it's gone, it's even lower than it should be. You're depressed, you're miserable, you're regretful. It's horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
So probably in your adult life, you've never enjoyed a night of drinking.
Oh, I've enjoyed plenty of nights and days of drinking. It's the aftermath that I've never, ever enjoyed. Because then it's like, okay, what did I do? Where did I go? Where did I spend my money? Where's my car? Who was I with? Did I get arrested? It's like, did I get pulled over? Did I get tickets? It's like, you don't even know. And it's like, how much trouble did I get into? Did I get thrown out of a bar? Am I allowed back in this place
you memento? Why are you starting to write some of these stuff on your arms and belly? Well, thanks, Reed. Talk to you later, buddy.
This is what happens when I feed my addiction. If I would pick up a drink right now, I don't know where I would end up.
I mean, excuse me, I understand you're an addict, and I understand you're an alcoholic, but my gosh, if it's that much of a nightmare, it seems like in your case, it would be a little easier to walk away from.
Walk away from what? I mean, it's
from nightmare after nightmare.
No, it's a progressive disease. The more I do it, the worse it gets. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand about the disease. It's a progressive disease. I can stop drinking for 8 years, and if I pick up a drink again, I'm right back where I was.
That was the longest you went, right?
8.5 years without a drink, other than my childhood.
What knocked you off the wagon after 8.5 years? Did that have to be some sort of significant event?
I actually waited till my wife went out of town. I rented a hotel room, filled up a cooler, and got a fat hooker.
Why couldn't you get a thin one for yourself?
My self-esteem issue. I had to get a fat cool girl.
Wife.
I got a fat cool girl, and I partied the whole time she was away.
All right, this is a good thing that maybe takes us away from a little bit. Do you think that people that are addicted are also more apt to cheat on their wives, more apt to cheat on their taxes, more apt to steal?
Absolutely. Alcohol releases your inhibitions. You do things...
But even if you weren't, let's say you'll be sober, still would cheat on your wife and your taxes?
I would have to say no, Ronnie, because if you're truly sober and in a program, honesty is the foundation of the program that I'm involved in. Honesty and humility. And I mean, if you're going to do something wrong, you have to be honest about it and make amends for it.
Just looking from Billy, Ronnie, I would have to say yes. You are more likely to cheat and steal and lie because, you know, we've seen Billy. Billy is a professional liar. I mean, he's told us things right to our faces. He can look us right in the face and do it. And then later on, down the road, 6 months later, we got amends for it. Yeah, I bet if you can fall into that pattern of living, where if you're lying about your drinking on a consistent basis, you could easily apply it to other parts of your life.
Alicia, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ron and Fez.
Hey, baby.
I was calling to back up Billy about his alcohol. I've actually been a drug counselor, and I have, gone to school for psychology and drug abuse. And I did want to back up Billy. The way alcohol is a disease because of how your body treats the alcohol. There is an enzyme in the stomach called alcohol dehydrogenase, and what this does is this breaks up the alcohol when the alcohol is swallowed and turns it into a chemical compound called acetaldehyde. This then turns the alcohol into energy that the body uses. The only difference between a non-alcoholic and an alcoholic is the alcoholic has more alcohol dehydrogenase, which is the enzyme that breaks it up.
You make me want to drink, honey.
I'm sorry.
You're so dry here. I feel like I need a drink.
Okay, let me put it in layman terms. If a person that is not an alcoholic, that does not have these enzymes, if they drink it up, the body processes it very quickly, and it goes, right out. That's why when people, they can drink a couple beers and then a couple hours later feel fine. How they don't even feel drunk anymore. As far as an alcoholic is concerned, when they drink it up, the body takes a much longer time to process to get rid of it. This makes a pathway in the brain, which I believe a caller before was suggesting, or I think it was Billy that was actually talking about it, that makes a track in the brain.
So you feel like drinking?
Just get to the dopamine part where prove I was right.
Yeah, and so it makes a path. And once he keeps doing this, the path gets more and more beaten, basically. With other people, this path never starts to really form.
You're on the beaten paths, not the beaten path.
Sorry.
I'm talking about Billy.
So, Alicia, basically, it's like it's not your fault. It's uncontrollable. You're destined.
Yeah,
that's all you want to hear, right?
I mean, however, in Billy's defense and some of the other callers, though, I will take the other side in saying that, most of the time when you know that your family members have been alcoholics, and you can see this from years and years of drinking, and the symptoms, the red nose, and, you never see them with anything but a beer or, some kind of alcoholic beverage in their hand.
I'm sitting here next to W.C. Fields.
But Alicia, it can be like colorblindness and totally skip a generation if you never knew your grandparents. It doesn't have to be your parents. Where you get the alcoholic gene from. So
that is very true. The enzymes are always there, and sometimes, it won't happen. It won't be very reactive to the person, but it's kind of passed.
It's passed on. I mean,
down to generation.
When I walked into that supermarket and bought that champagne, I mean, I had no idea whether I had the alcoholic gene or not. So
no, you did not.
So for anybody to insinuate that I
knew, you had
the genes were big enough to hide it in.
All right, thanks, Alicia.
You're welcome, and you guys have
Alicia.
a good night.
You too, baby. Thanks for all your help.
It's very sweet.
I gotta stop calling women baby. I don't know. I can't break that.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're not a woman. Of course you would. I gotta get off of that. Okay, baby.
I'm big on sweetie for some reason. I call girls sweetie.
Anyway.
He's addicted to Sweetie.
That was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever heard.
And I don't know why it was added. I don't know why it was thrown out there.
Who needs it?
No one needed to know your uncomfortable nickname for women who will go out with you, have dinner, and then make out with another guy. All right? No one needs to know the uncomfortable nickname for that.
one had nothing to do with the other. I meant like girls I hardly know. I just, like, oh, thanks, sweetie. That's what I'm talking about.
Does he?
And yet he's still talking.
Yeah. What do you call girls, Harry?
Harry, what do you call girls like you don't know?
Strangers?
I don't talk to many girls, so I don't have like.
What is wrong with you that you don't talk to girls? We going out after the show tonight?
Yeah.
Would you promise me this? You'll make at least one run at a chick?
Yeah.
Did you get digits last week?
Yeah, I did.
By digits, someone gave him the finger.
I called her. She never called me back.
What was her name? I forgot.
Gabrielle.
I don't remember her.
You didn't meet her. I think you'll meet her tonight.
Whoa! You're bringing a girl home for Dad.
Has she been emailing you back?
Yeah, we've always been emailing. It was just last week I got the number.
Oh, that's a first.
We call it numbers now? What do we call it?
Digits.
Right. Don't you want to sound like you got a show in the WB?
I'm posting star search.
You're like Clueless.
Video.
You want to set her up tonight and get her punked like they're doing on MTV now? You got punked. God, they keep doing it to the same pussy kids on there. These Backstreet Boys. Have you watched this punk show yet? I can't turn off any show that's like Candy Camera. This punk show, they keep turning on the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, and they're pushing these kids around like they got no money. Like a stranger. Made them take their pants down in the street, they do it. Another guy, they acted like they were taking the guy's stuff, like repossessing. And it's the one who's got the hit album.
Timberlake. Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, did you see this one?
Yeah, I saw that one.
And did he sit down?
Oh, was that? He was like crying to his mom on the phone?
He was almost.
He literally sat down and was crying and said, "You took my dogs." Instead of going, "What the F are you doing? This kid's got millions of dollars and he doesn't know how to act." The other one, they were acting like to get into MTV, he had to walk through something and was setting up, and they made him pull his pants down in the street on Melrose. And he was doing it, going,
and he does it.
This is ridiculous. And I'm like, you're in Backstreet. You've had 12 videos on that thing. You should own them.
It's Kevin Richardson from the Backstreet.
I don't know who they all are. Okay, I don't have their posters up in my room.
Harry,
I have my own home.
Harry
I'm not
just looked
sharing
at
the room with my brother and putting posters up.
Harry likes him because he's the guy with the big eyebrows.
Harry got it off his
He's still
notebook.
in here talking crazy, Fez.
He's still jumping in.
I was on your side through the whole disease thing. But unless you're defending yourself, I can't stand you.
And here's what I don't understand about you, Billy.
What is that?
And this is visual, and I should even put this out here. You've got your hair so gelled back.
Mm-hmm.
You must have a whole bottle of hair gel in there. And yet somehow it's still unruly and unkempt.
Well, that was what I was going for.
I don't know whether it's because it's thin, but the scalp is just shining.
Well, it's the gel. The gel, I
The
think
gel
I
should be hair gel, not scalp
No, I
gel.
massaged it in. You
Do you know how shiny your scalp is right now?
It's like there's bug spray on your head.
No, it's the Gordon Gekko look.
It's like a glazed hairy ham. I don't know. It's weird.
Nah, I just, put a handful of gel, squirted it in there, and put it in my hair. Because I wanted to, my hair has always lately been looking different, so.
Yeah, tonight looks like fish oil.
All right, we asked Harry about this. If we go out tonight, are you making a move on Chicken Parm 3?
No, I am not making a move on any women tonight.
Oh, yeah, should she be there tonight?
Is she going to be there? Because I'd love to see her and her boyfriend and you.
No, I'm out of the dating scene for a while. I'm out of commission. I can't be with any members of the opposite or same sex or anything.
Why not?
Why no gay sex?
I had another D procedure.
All right, I can't.
Oh, you had more stuff burned off your dink?
Yeah. So.
All right, did you honestly think that you were going to get so far tonight with a young lady that this was going to even come up in conversation?
Well, Fez, you know the odds are with me eventually. Tonight could have been the night.
Yeah, and the Caps can still win the Stanley Cup, Jinxie.
So, no, but I can't.
We'll take a break. We're right back. It's Ron and Fez.